Alright, I was checking the mail, and look what came in. It is my inverter. I'm so excited. So with this guy, I'll be able to do field weakening, be able to get to 14, probably not 14 because under load, 14 under no load, 1000 RPM, and get a lot more power out of this. So I'm going to be removing the old Kelly and then fabbing mounts for the new guy. You see your guy's got screws there, there, blah, blah, blah. So I got to do something here for that. Just gonna fab something up, and then I will try to do something about the wiring, but no promises. Okay, so 5 minutes worth of work. Got all the things disconnected. Still got the plugs over there. Got to figure out what I'm going to do with all this stuff, but I can't use that anyway, so that's fine. That's just going to go with the motor. But I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the switches and everything, so I got to get that going. You can do the. I can still use the switch box and the key, and maybe the brake on for this box. I don't know. Oh, I got to figure that out. So now I can take this guy off. Ta-da! So now let me get the other guy out. So right there's option one. I could just maybe, I don't know what I'm going to do. Got to figure something out because it is off to the side. Maybe have a bracket that spans the two. Or what I'm thinking is, since this is suboptimal for airflow, rotate this guy 90 degrees and then have the fins run this way. I think would be better. I do think that looks a little bit better, and that would actually help with the airflow running down the fins like that versus running over the fins like this. Not going to get much airflow down inside, just going to sit there and trip over the top, but that seems to make more sense. So I will do that. And the other thing is the motor controllers come out this side. Where is the plug? Oh, and the plug comes out right there. So maybe I can do that. I can just shim it back a little bit and figure something out there. So that actually looks pretty decent. There you go. If that doesn't look factory, I don't know what does. Oh, that's perfect. So yeah, just a piece of plywood. Gonna bolt that down with the 4 bolts that were in there, and then drill new holes for that. Bang, bang, boom. 5-minute job. Alright, got 2 of the holes drilled. Used my right angle drill bit, or right angle screw gun thing for the first time in like 15 years. That thing's just been sitting on the shelf. Used it. Oh my goodness, it was nice. Was able to use it to get up underneath here because I've got not much height. So now I just got to get these 2 front holes drilled. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I'll figure that out somehow. Okay, so using the calipers and measuring the heat sink, I got the base plate, and so from there what I did is I printed it out, and you'll see in just a second I'm going to transfer that onto the board so I don't need to guess. So I just got it printed out to a 1:1 scale, and now I can just put it wherever I want and then punch the 4 spots and then drill the holes, and then the heatsink will be mounted, or I'll have holes to mount the heatsink. I don't know, it looks pretty factory to me. Made some precision hand cut standoffs to hold the motor up off, because the other idea was just to have a bolt come down and compress the plastic. I didn't like that idea. So I made some standoffs, and yeah, look at the bolts, perfect size. Can't believe I got that right. So now I need to hook up my positive and negative, I need to change the motor out. That's what I got to do now. And I need to change all the gearing because all that's wrong. So I guess what I will do, I got to drain all the fluid. So I guess I will, what will I do? I don't want to do that right now. I will hook up, I'll start working on the throttle cable and stuff like that, because there, oops, let's see right here. That's where all the communication comes out for the throttle and the sensor. So I've got that, and so I'll start working on that stuff. Alright, quick update. So I got the motor unbolted, and then when I unbolted the motor, I realized I could not get the motor out without removing the jack shaft, because when I put this thing in here, the jack shaft was not in there, and so it looks like I have to remove the jack shaft to get the motor out. So got one bolt out, got another bolt on that side, and I got the two on the other side, and it's fine because I still need to change the sprockets on the jack shafts anyway, so it kind of works out. I had to do the work anyway, but I just thought it was funny that I had to remove so much to get the motor out. So, all right, onward and upward. All right, so with the magic of editing, that didn't take any time at all. Look at that. Only took a split second. That's how good I am. So there's that. I need to break that chain. I already broke that chain off, so now I can get the motor out. Okay, HSG number 1 is out, and now I need to go, because this one I put on an RMB, or I'm sorry, an RLS 29B on there. That's the encoder there. It's a sine cosine, so I made a custom mount for that. So on the real HSG, there's a resolver, and I need to go wire that up, and that resolver plugs into that orange line here, and you can tell it goes to the resolver because look, it says resolver. That's how you know. Yep, so all that goes in there, and then you got the reset button, you got the 12 volts, and then the other wire, the black wire that goes into the box over there, there you go, right there, is for the throttle, the regen, and the programmer. So, and then here, from Kiwi Fiat, the guy I got this from, he said, hook up the center pole of this guy to the center pole of that guy. So I take the blue and I run it to center, and then I hook up these however I want, just by random choice. I pick one, and then look at the motor when I spin it in sensorless mode, and if the motor spins correctly in the right direction, I'm good. If it spins in the wrong direction, I take these and flip them, and then it'll spin in the correct direction. And that is in sensorless mode. And then once it's in sensorless mode, spinning in the correct direction, you can go into the programmer and set up the Hall effect. Because in here was put in a resolver to Hall, what would you call that? Converter, so that this uses the Lebowski controller, the Lebowski brain, to control the MOSFETs or IGBTs, whatever right here, I don't know. And with that Lebowski brain, it's designed for a Hall signal. And this motor does not come stock with a Hall, or it does come stock with a resolver, and so that's what you want to use. Just use the stock components, why not? And then you just get an adapter, and that's what was put in here. Since I'm here messing with these pieces, I might as well just go ahead and change out the gearing to what I want. And let's go take a look at what gearing I'm going to put on this guy. I don't remember off the top of my head now. So using my chart here, I'm assuming possibly 12,000 RPM. Over here, I got the speeds for both 70% and 100% of 12,000 RPM, and looking at 34 to 50 miles an hour. And both those numbers are pretty insane. My top speed before was 28, so I'm hoping for over 34 miles an hour. So I've got to go find a 10 and a 38, and then a 19 and a 48. So I got to find a 10 and a 48, and that's what I got to put on that jack shaft, because this right here is the stock gearing for the rear axle. And so I got to find my 10 tooth and 48 tooth. And for this one, I'm putting a 19 here. I'm actually going down a size in chain because I could not find this size at, where did I buy this from? I bought this from Surplus Direct. I'll find it real quick for you. Yeah, that's where I buy everything from, just 'cause it's so much cheaper. And so I just go to the roller sprockets, finish bore sprockets. And then for 35, I could get gearing down to 72, but if I were to go back to 40, which is what I had before, I can only get to 30, so that didn't give me a good enough gear ratio. So unfortunately I had to go to a size 35 chain, but I think that's okay because I'm on the smallest or the lowest torque size, and this is the one that's going to be spinning up to 12,000 RPM. So I don't know. We'll see how this chain does at 12,000 RPM. Hopefully it doesn't explode and put a hole in the back of my skull. So yeah, that's what I'm putting on it. So going back to here. So a 10, which is an itty bitty gear, and a 48, which is pretty big. Let's get going. Alright, so look at the size difference between these gears I'm going to put on here. This is what is going to go on the jack shaft. This is a 10-tooth gear. We had, what, an 18th tooth? I think that's what that was. I'm sorry, 16 tooth. We had a 16 tooth. And then on this one, we're going from a, you just got to look at the diameters now. We're going from a 30 tooth to a 48 tooth, but the diameters are different. So a little bit higher gear ratio here and much higher gear ratio here. I mean, look at this. It's just tiny. So yeah, that's going to really get the torque to the rear tires. And the only reason I'm able to gear it down so low is because I'm able to get the RPM so high. Right now on the Kelly controller, I'm getting probably around 3,800 RPM, I think. Maybe even less than that. Because the math, when I went to a 16 tooth, I was supposed to increase my speed, but I didn't. I went from like 38 miles an hour, I'm sorry, from 28 miles an hour to 28 miles an hour, going from a 14 to a 16, and it didn't make any sense to me. And then the other thing I noticed is that when I went half throttle, all of a sudden the car would accelerate again after being floored. If you floor it and then wait for it to get steady state and then you back off on the throttle, you'll hit some spot where all of a sudden it just starts pulling again, which is weird. And I don't know if that has something to do with my wiring, which it could, because I got shocked one time by the throttle cables or something, or if it has something to do with just how the Kelly is and being, I don't know, just a subpar controller. I don't know. But I might actually use the Kelly on a different project. What I'm thinking about doing on that is making a electric riding lawnmower, because that thing's spinning at 3,000-ish RPMs would actually work out really well, just a straight drop in. But if I were super cool, I would use another one of those and be able to spin it and get a whole lot more RPM, because spinning at 3,000 RPM is not ideal for the HSG motor. Okay, number one has been pulled out. The wire's been pulled off of it. And then as I look at the number 2 motor, you can tell because it's number 2 is written on it. And that is what the resolver looks like. So I did some dumb things here, but that's not a big deal. I just need to cut those wires off and yada yada yada, and then kill that bug. I need to, let's see up here, yep, I can bolt those in the same. That's all good. Unfortunately, I don't have this connector. It'd be cool if I did, but I don't, so I'm just gonna plug into those right there like I did last time. So on to the resolver. That's where I'm at now, because over here I have gotten as far as I can. I've put the jack shaft back on. I can't put that stuff back in until I put the motor in. I can't put the motor in until I get the resolver wiring done. So doing that now. I'm not an electrical guy, so that's why I postponed it until the end. And now it's the end. So let me go do that. Alright, so I'm working on the resolver here. I have put on all the little rubber booties. That's good. I got all the pins right there, and I got the right tool. And then using that right there, thanks to Roger, I know where to put all the pins. Pink, red, yellow. Should be multiple yellows. Wait, 2 light yellows, okay. So this is the light yellows, that's the 2 of them. And there's the regular yellow. And then, is there a tan? What color is that guy? That must be pink, because they got a red, and that must be pink. Okay, well, let's do this.